Okay, here we go. I think we're live. It's day 2 of Advent of Code, 2nd of December. Looking forward to today's challenge. I think I'm just going to cut short these intros as much as I can, but make sure there's enough time to set up. Yeah, so yesterday's challenge was quite straightforward, just looping over some input values. Someone did leave it the comments and said for the second half, instead of summing up the windows, because all the values except for the first and the last overlap in the sums, you don't have to compare them because they'll always be equal. So you could just kind of compare. So yesterday the sliding window was 3, so you just had to compare 3 ahead, and you would get the same result. So that was a neat little trick to do yesterday's challenge. I think, yeah, I was just too focused on the wording of the question, so I just kind of did what I thought was necessary, the naive approach, as we'd say. But I'm all set up for today, so let's just see how it goes. Got about 40 seconds left until the challenge starts, so just sit tight until that happens. It'd be kind of cool if, like, I'm just thinking about all the streamers that I watch and what they'd say when they have 30 seconds of nothing. But I'm not very creative in that way, so you get nothing and some random musings. So, challenge is about to start. Let's get going. So, day 2, dive. Now you need to figure out how to pilot this thing. It seems like the submarine can take a series of commands, like forward 1, down 2, up 3, and so on. I love these sorts of puzzles. Forward, up, and down. Okay, so 3D space. Note that since you're on a submarine, down and up affect your depth, so that they have the opposite result of what you might expect. Right, up is negative. The submarine seems to already have planned a course, which is my puzzle input. So parsing them as strings seems like a good idea. Let's get that going. I think, yep, it's quite straightforward. We could probably like read them into some kind of struct and say instructions is like, I don't know, direction is a string and value is an int. We can read into that quite quickly by just looping over every string in the input. There's a couple ways to do this, but I'll do it the naive way. Let's call it that. So I'll split the string on on space, and then we will, yeah, I'm having some naming problems. We'll do it this way. It doesn't work. It makes no sense whatsoever that I'm pulling it like this, but I can't even type it. So do that, and we will append to it a new instruction with the first value and the second value, which we will need to parse out. Stringconf.a2i is the function. Split 1. A declared but not used if is not nil. I actually have a macro for this. Look at that. Cool. So it seems like we got that working. So we've parsed it, which is nice. Your horizontal, I'm going to go back to the problem. Your horizontal position and depth both start at 0. The steps above would then modify them as follows. Forward 5 adds 5 to horizontal position, a total of 5. Down adds to your depth, and so on. Cool, so down adds to your depth, yep. After following these instructions, you would have a horizontal position of 15 and depth of 10, multiplying these together gets 150. Calculate the horizontal position and depth that you would have after following your planned course. What would you get if you multiply final horizontal position and the other one? So horizontal starts off at 0 and depth starts off at 0. For every instruction we have, we'll switch the direction. If it's forward, h plus equals the value. Otherwise, if it's up, h minus equals the value. No, depth minus equals the value. And if it's down, depth plus equals the value of default. We'll just log out the instruction because there's a problem with that. Cool, that didn't crash. So we'll just log them out and see what we get. It seems reasonable based on what I saw about the input. Let's just take a quick look at the input. That doesn't really seem reasonable, does it? How many lines is that? Oh, no, that's right. Okay. All right. So that was a quite straightforward parsing problem. Based on calculations, the planned course doesn't seem to make any sense. Well, surprise. You find that submarine manual and discover that the process is actually slightly more complicated. In addition to the horizontal position and depth, you also need to track a third value, aim, which also starts at 0. Let's check that in, aim, which also starts at 0. The commands also mean something entirely different than you first thought. Down increases your aim by x units. Up decreases your aim. Oh no, by x units. Forward does two things. It increases your okay, no trigonometry. That was what I was afraid of. Forward does two things. It increases your horizontal by x units. It increases your depth by your aim multiplied by x units. So depth plus equals I dot val times aim. Again, note that you're on a submarine. Down and up to the opposite of what you might expect. Down increases. Yep, cool, that's fine. Down means aiming in the positive direction. Now the above example does something different, etc. Depth of 60, multiplying this produces that. What do you, okay, so I think I implemented it as I was reading it. We'll just chuck it in there and see what happens first. It's right, all right. So again, this was a pretty straightforward question of reading the spec, the problem, and just implementing it as it described. Nothing more to that. There's a little bit of interesting stuff going on with the parsing. So the way I parsed this, if it's not clear from the code, each input comes in here as forward 9 or up 2 or something like that, right? So first thing I do is I split it. So now I have an array forward and 9 like this. And then what I do is I convert a to I is parseInt, but like the wrapped parseInt that just does kind of the thing you want it to do. As you can see on the top of my screen, is equivalent to parseInt in base 10. So I just get the 9 converted into an actual number 9. And then I just save that into my struct, which is defined up here. And then I just loop over the struct, and depending on what the instruction was, I just did what the spec said it should, and outputted what the spec said I should, and got my answers. So another quick, nice and easy challenge. Nothing really more to say about it. I hope you enjoyed the challenge, and I'm looking forward to where this adventure underwater in a submarine with elves looking for sleigh keys takes us. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.